let us come around this special table on this special celebration of Epiphany. And if anyone watches this live recording who is not a Christian, then please don't be offended, because for those of us who celebrate Jesus as the Son of God, to us he's more than a prophet. He is the Son of God, he is the King of Kings, he is the cosmic Christ. And it is right that we celebrate this feast, because it is a feast that is replicated in every monastery and every church throughout Christendom. But today in the modern world, we ask ourselves, what is the message of the Epiphany for you and for me? Let us just quietly relax and let us come into our heart. And if we have a candle present, let us light our candle. For the candle signifies for us the light of God, the life of God, among us, with us, in us, speaking through us. So we light our simple candle and we place it beside us as we come for 30 minutes out of a 24-hour day, and we give these 30 minutes to our I Am presence, the Father, Mother, God, the Spirit of love within our being. So let us now celebrate this great festival of three wise men coming to the manger. And their journey is not dissimilar to ours, for they traveled a long, long time. And I can only speak for me, but my journey has taken me many, many years of going through a desert where there's been a dryness of heart, there's been a lack of clarity, uncertainty, confusion, duplicity, and at times I guess I let myself down by not listening to my heart. But again, the positive side of that is that if we don't have the dryness of spirit, if we don't have the Good Friday experience in our spiritual journey, then we don't appreciate the Easter Sunday experience, where we arise with the Beloved. And the three wise men, for me, have an important story. They never gave up. As astrologers, astronomers, they recognized that star. They recognized that the King of Kings was born for them, just like you and I today. When we hear that voice speaking to our heart, and we know that the voice is the voice of God, we down tools, we stop what we're doing, and we reflect, we listen. We listen to our heart. We honor our heart, like the wise men, so they have something to teach us if we are willing to listen. And when they seen the Christ child, because when they appeared, the wise men at the manger, Jesus the child was no longer a little babe. he had grown. They say, scripture scholars say that he was possibly 2 years old, or maybe just a little younger. But regardless of his age, what do they teach me and what do they teach you? Well, one, don't give up when the going gets tough. Avoid listening to the many voices in your head that's showing you an easier route, because there's no easy way or fast track to God. The only way is the narrow way, and it has lots of bends and turns and one-way traffic. Yes, it's like living here in this little remote village in Cumbria, where there are lots of little laneways, and if you're travelling in a car, it can be a near-death experience, especially if a car is coming the other way or the farmer. You literally take a deep breath, you close your eyes, and you hope for a miracle. But the wise men teach me something. When I pass our crib here in the hall, I look at that helpless child, I look at Mary and Joseph, and each time I pass it, I see something different. I see the shepherds with the sheep on their back or in their arms. I see the minstrel playing his flute with joy. And now we have 3 wise men, and you can see the delight in their eyes as you and I, when we hear the inner voice of Spirit speak to us and tell us that we are a beloved of God. But how do you hear those voices of God and from the company of heaven if we're multitasking? But you know what I do? I turn my multitasking into a prayer. Like up until 20 minutes ago, I was ironing. Yes, I was trying to catch up on many odd jobs, and I love ironing because it's therapeutic. And I also appreciate a chair to sit on after maybe 3 or 4 hours of ironing. But I find ironing really therapeutic for my mind, for my body and my spirit, because it becomes a prayer. Though it can be arduous on the back, it is a prayer. It is a prayer. It is a gift of my heart to my God. But the wise men teach me that though the journey was long for them, many years, they were traveling for many years. They seen the star. Like you and I, when we hear the voice of God speak to us, they stopped. They looked at the star. They got out their calculations. They cross-referenced their information. They knew they were onto a winner. Like you, like me, when the Beloved speaks to us and calls us by our name and says to us, "Come, rest a while with me. Let us sit down together. Let us talk to one another." You down tools immediately. And even if you don't hear the inner voice of Spirit, you get a déjà vu experience sometimes during the day. You may experience an act of kindness from another that blows you away with such gratitude. That is a prayer. But the wise men share with us something more important than gifts of material possessions, though those gifts they offered were highly significant and had a spiritual symbolism attached to them. but we have something to give. We have the gift of life. We have the gift of love. Some of us are called to share that love in a relationship with another. Some are called in the relationship to dedicate their life to living a celibate life. And others are called to forfeit having a partner and dedicate their lives to God. That is a special gift. It's offered to everybody, but not everybody is ready for it. But the one thing that God appreciates from us, more than all the candles we light for intentions, like the 3 I have here, one of them is Sheila's. The other one is the one I promised everybody that I would light for them and burn for 168 hours. That is there. And there's one for the Teo community, for our past members and for members who left recently around the time of the shift, and for those who've stayed to nurture the vision with prayer. But we have something more ourselves. Our very presence is a gift. The fact that we are willing to offer ourselves as we are in our vulnerability, we offer our availability to God as an act of gratitude for what we have received from God. We receive so many gifts from God. It is tragic that we need reminders, but that's human. In our humanity we fall down so much, don't we? Well, I do. And sometimes as you get that bit older, you get more set in your ways and stubborn too. Yes, and I guess I have the Irish Celtic streak in me from a Glaswegian Irish family. I've got the combination of the Irish Glaswegian Celtic spirituality and temperament flowing through my blood and in my bones. And that can be a nightmare, because with that comes stubbornness of heart. But putting that aside, I would like to share with you a few thoughts. Why pray if God knows best? Following on from listening and prayer, why pray if God knows best? Let's reflect on that. Why pray at all? Well, first we need to understand what is prayer. Prayer is a gift of love. It's a gift of love. It's a gift of self. It's a gift of our heart. It is sharing what we have with the Creator God and holding nothing back. The joy, the sorrow, the laughter, the tears, we share all. We must not be ashamed to share who we truly are. But allow me read these, and then towards the latter end of this session we shall have a meditation where we shall come into the presence of the Christ. But someone will say, does God not know, even without being reminded, both in what respect we are troubled and what is expedient for us, so that it may seem in a sense superfluous that he should be stirred up by our prayers? as if he were drowsily blinking or even sleeping until he is aroused by your voice and mine. But they who thus reason do not observe to what end the Lord instructed his people to pray. For he ordained it not so much for his own sake as for ours. Now he wills, as is right, that his due be rendered to him in the recognition that everything men desire and account conducive to their own profit comes from him. And in the attestation of this by prayers, but the profit of this sacrifice also by which he is worshipped returns to us. It does, doesn't it? Accordingly, the Holy Fathers, the more confidently they extolled God's benefits among themselves and others, were the more keenly aroused to pray. It will be enough for us to note the single example of Elijah, who, sure of God's purpose, after he has deliberately promised rain to King Ahab, still anxiously prays with his head between his knees, and sends his servants 7 times to look. And you'll find that in 1 Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. Not because he would discredit his prophecy, but because he knew it was his duty, lest his face be sleepy or sluggish, to lay his desires before God. When we pray, God hears us. People find that sometimes very difficult to understand, that how can God listen to all of us at the same time? But that is being God. And as you and I are connecting with each other right here, God is with us. He knows that we are his children, that we are brothers and sisters of his Son. He knows our needs, and he knows them better than we. But he loves us. And in that love he reciprocates a blessing. And the blessing is a sense of compassion, an understanding, and a love. But where I believe many fall down, they have this emotional issue where they have to feel holy and feel good in prayer. But that's not prayer. Prayer is often when you're not likely to feel anything. You feel dry, irritable, weary, despondent, discouraged. And that prayer, I believe, is the most powerful weapon in our armory as a child of God, because that prayer takes effort. And where anything takes effort, it's rewarded, usually with a miracle from God. But effective prayer must always be accompanied by something else. That something else is discipline. Disciplining the mind, disciplining your eyes, what you see, disciplining your ears, what you hear, disciplining your heart, what you feel, how you react, how you respond. Disciplining your body, your appetite, your senses. So effectual prayer is like, with discipline, is like hand in a glove on a cold winter's morning. The glove gives you warmth. The discipline that we incorporate with our prayer. Like denying ourselves. It's a dirty word today, because the media bombard us with all of these adverts, and the one that comes to mind is Jane Fonda. She's an amazing actress, and I'm not discrediting her, but you see her for these products of face cream, like oil of Ulay. And then she concludes by saying, because I'm worth it. And it's that mass marketing that has people believing that if they buy that toothbrush, they'll almost fly to heaven. People are deceived. But if we come back to our heart and we allow ourselves be still and listen and invoke the company of heaven, that request is never, ever ignored. Because the Father, Mother, God who created you and me knows we're on their case. They know we are interested. And though we may not get the request immediately, many people believe it's because their prayers aren't good enough, not strong enough, not long enough, or that they are unworthy. And I guess that's the tool of the evil one, to discredit the power of prayer. Prayer is an effective weapon against Satan, the Antichrist. Prayer moves mountains. Prayer from the heart is a gift to God, and it brings miracles. But the secret of effectual prayer is not repetitively asking for the same thing over and over, day in, day out, week in, week out. We ask once, just once, and then we celebrate by bringing in a positive mindset, and we take on board the words of Jesus, where he said, whatever you ask in my name, I will do it for you. By repetitively asking for the same thing over and over, actually is a deterrent, because it demonstrates to God that we are insecure, insincere, that we do not trust the inner spirit within us who is singing to God. So we need to be clear. Effectual prayer, yes, it's of the heart, but it needs only be said once for a specific request. But prayer is continuous. The air that we breathe is a prayer. Everything we do is a prayer. We begin our day by offering our day as a prayer. So let us now bring that prayer. I call it the prayer of presence. The prayer of presence is the gift of yourself. Let us bring that gift of self And let us go to a place where we can be at peace within our heart and find the beloved and make sure the Lord is not asleep. As we relax now, let us just experience the stillness of the flame of the candle we have just lit. Let us bring our mind's eye to the gentle flicker of that flame. Let us look at the flame. And we now call on the company of heaven, and we invite them to help us. And the more we look at the flame, we see a shadow. Yes, there's a shadow now. And that shadow is moving with the flame. And as we look right into the flame, we see a presence beyond the flame. We see a face. We no longer see the flame, but we see a face. And it is the face of the beloved. It is the cosmic Christ. And all we see is the face, but what is piercing our heart are the eyes of that face. They are like two beacon lights on a dark ocean. They are piercing our heart with love. And as we gaze into those eyes, we are allowed to see the face of God. And there is no fear, only love. And with every in-breath that we breathe, the light of love flowing from those eyes are getting brighter and stronger. And we can feel the surge of healing love coming into our heart. And we can hear the voices of angelic beings singing the great Alleluia. And we are at peace now. We are at peace. And the light of the eyes of the Christ is speaking words to our soul, to our higher self. Be still. Be still and know that I am your God. That I love you with a perfect love. And you feel that love from the love that is flowing from the eyes of the Christ. And that love is affirming that you are a beloved of God, and that as a child of God, you are totally loved. You are accepted. And there is no condemnation. And you are now allowing yourself receive this precious gift from God through the Christ Instead of you bringing a gift to the manger, the Father, Mother, God are bringing a gift to you right now through the love of the Christ, for your dedication, for your selflessness, for your unquestioning love, for your untiring devotion to his heart. They bring you now the gift of renewed life, and there is a renewed vigor and strength in this life. And with every in-breath that you breathe, you sense a total lightness, as if you're floating. It is peaceful here. It is peaceful. And the Christ is touching you. He is healing you on every level, your mind, your body and spirit. So the flame on the candle has now become a living flame in your heart. The love and the light of the Christ has reignited within you an eternal flame of love, and nothing will quench that but you. No forces of darkness will ever quench that flame, for you are protected now. And the flame representing the love of the Father, Mother, God, their gift to you and me on this Feast of Epiphany, is their gift to us in recognition that we have not walked away, that we have stayed the course, however difficult, that we have weathered the storms of life, and they now reward us by bringing to us the eternal flame of Christ's love. Be still now. Be still, my Lord and my God, my Lord and my God, my Alpha, my Omega, my first love, my only love, my true love. I surrender. I bless you. I thank you. And now we come back to where we are, and we see the candle burning, bright as bright could be, and the flame has taken on a new significance, for we see this flame, and every time we light our candle, we see the love of the Christ, the cosmic Christ. Wherever we go, wherever we are, if it be in a shop window, in a mosque, in a synagogue or church, in a home, when we see a flame burning, immediately we will know something, that on the 6th of January 2013, the Father, Mother, God presented to us the eternal flame, and ignited it in our heart. And that flame will burn bright until we return to our heavenly home. Let there be peace now, and just feel the love. Feel the love of the beloved, for there is no greater love. Nothing can compete with this love, for it is selfless. It is reverent, it is healing, it is non-dogmatic, it is non-controlling, it is not vindictive or spiteful. It is totally, totally selfless, and it is ours. The gift that the Magi brought to the Christ child on this very feast, we have been given our gift, the eternal flame. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me into your space. Thank you for sharing your love. And may God reward you. And may He richly bless you now. And let the eternal flame burn bright within your being. And let there be no fear. For there can be no fear in the presence of the Epiphany flame. Namaste. Shalom inshallah paxet bonum. Om Shanti. Solo di caritas. Salakam laikam, and peace. Have a beautiful feast day. Until we meet again. God bless you.